Good afternoon, everyone. Hope this day is finding you well. It is now the full moon in Aquarius tonight. So there's going to be a lot. Actually, this time is going to be bringing a lot of transformation. There's going to be a lot of shifting of energy. Um, there's going to be, I don't know what I feel like. There's going to be a lot of people shifting in or out of life, out of one's life, and I also feel like there's going to be a major shift internally. It's almost like there is we're reaching a point of another level of maturity almost. So it's like we have learned lessons, we have gone through enough to know um, how we're moving through life and what factors are maybe impacting us and our journey and moving through, and then making adjustments on based on that and how we can improve. So that's what I'm really sensing with this full moon. At least for me, I don't know. But yeah, I'm here to. So yeah. I'm here to do a reading. Actually, normally this reading would just be attuned to the day to day kind of interactions with life and things like that, and what's happening between the underworld or curtain worlds or the earth plane and then the higher realms or a higher realm or in the heavens. But with the full moon bringing so much energy and so especially for transformation, it's almost like a death and rebirth. This reading is really going to focus around that. So I've already shuffled the cards numerous times. This is actually, I think, my fourth take. So I've asked the four spirits, so the spirits of air, earth, fire, and water multiple times at this point. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lay the cards out. Usually I would shuffle them. This is probably going to be one of the few exceptions where you won't see me shuffle. But like I said, this is my third take, and this is actually my first official YouTube video. So I had to do a few extras. But yes, laying out for air first. We have the sun. Laying out for fire. I'm sorry, not fire, earth. We actually have an earth sign. We have the pentacles. For fire, actual fire, we have the emperor. So passion, drive, that really masculine force that, I guess gets our blood pumping, so to speak. And then the spirit of water, we have the moon. So, and this first row is just pertaining to the underworld. So with the sun, I'm seeing in air for this reading. Like this card is always it's for the most part always positive. I don't think I've ever seen it actually be reflected negatively in a reading, even if it is reversed. So I'm getting the sun reversed right now, in air, for the netherworld. But what I'm really picking up from this is like the sun is rising. Like there is definitely like there's a new horizon broadening, especially in the mind. There's like new realizations, seeing new perspectives, understanding, understanding or misunderstandings that have happened are now coming to some kind of resolution and reconciliation. So this is like almost like a heralding of like, or a blessing of, this is a time for transformation and we need to pursue said transformation. So it's like almost like full steam ahead with this. With the two of pentacles in the earth sign, it's almost like we're at a standstill, I feel like. So there's like because the two of cards, or the two of pentacles, not the two of cards, the two of pentacles, especially in earth, usually represents struggling between two choices. But when it's reversed, and this is kind of what I'm picking up, there's a little bit of hesitation. It's like you're stuck between two places right now, two decisions. And they're both valid and you have to make one, but hesitating is going to be impacting your foundation. So on the unconscious spirit, on the deep unconscious level, this may be impacting how you're moving forward, and it's not allowing for the flow. Excuse me, I'm just gonna have a quick sip of my kombucha. and it's not allowing for this flow of energy, especially coming from air, this new horizon, to really come into fruition. It's almost like there's a blockage there, and it's willful. So unconsciously, maybe it's not really understood why, but there's something blocking you from making this transition or this choice. With the Emperor reversed, and especially in fire, like I've been seeing a lot in my readings lately that there's like some kind of male energy, or masculine energy, independent of gender, that has been kind of cycling out. So maybe this might be a really, maybe a really toxic way of thinking, or toxic masculine way of thinking, like toxic masculinity. But this ideology, this, you know, imposition of this toxic dominating male energy is now flowing out. And it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, like the energy is particularly horrible, but it's like, you may feel stonewalled or big brothered, or some kind of fearing some kind of disapproval from like a masculine authority figure. And once again, this is independent of gender. This could even represent like, a female boss, a female coworker, possibly even a female family member of some kind that's maybe an elder. So this is what this is seeing, but that kind of toxic energy is kind of flowing out, and there's some kind of reconciliation coming through. That's why I'm generally this is actually this card, the Emperor in reverse, like this, in fire. I've been seeing a lot of that, a lot of negative, like not negative, but there's just been a lot of cards in reverse and a lot of indication that this kind of toxic male energy is flowing out. And once again, it doesn't have to be like intentionally or maliciously toxic, but it's just like there's just that imposing masculine toxic dominance that is now flowing out. So, and this could also be in your own head, just like, oh, I'm supposed to be a man, so I have to be like this or that and the other. That's what I'm really sensing. But that's just like and if that is kind of your process of thinking, you're just like, this is just stupid now. Like, I don't even know why I was thinking this, or had these thoughts for so long. So that's what I'm really getting from the Emperor reversed in the fire placement, and from the water spirit in the water placement, we have the moon upright. So the moon is all about like your inner world, intuition, also passing. Ooh, I'm sorry. I'll be right back. The wind literally just picked up my cards. Anyway, let me put these back the way they were. There we go. Is that right? That is right. Okay. All right. So yeah, so I was saying we have the moon upright, and what I'm really getting from this is like there's like, especially with the two pillars, it's almost like we're passing through the gates. So we're moving to a new dimension of our inner world, a new inner consciousness or subconsciousness, and it's going through that. We're making that journey almost, and it's going to be, well, I really don't know how else to say this. This is going to be quite the journey, because our transformation is it's the subconscious. So this is dealing with the underworld and whatever karma we may have, but yeah, we're definitely going to be having to go on a long eternal journey. Good Lord. I don't know what happened, but the wind all of a sudden decided to pick up. And it's just, we have to really face these inner, like, our inner subconscious. So it's like, our inner, what we think of ourselves on the internal, on how we think of ourselves, like, internally. So it's just like our good side and both our good side and our bad side. When I say good side, what I really mean is like how we kind of view ourselves internally, and then like the true instinctual side of ourselves, you know, how we really operate. And it's almost like there's a calling for a union at this point as we transit through these between these pillars and this gate and go along this journey. So this is going to be opening up into the waking consciousness. So we have to. So basically, yeah, it's like full speed ahead with the sun. The sun is rising on the inside, on the, you know, in our world, in our netherworld, underworld, our subconscious. We might have to face a decision that's going to be extremely difficult, but we can't shy away from it, like whatsoever. Like you're just going to have to make it, and it's going to be difficult. You're just going to have to. It's almost like you're choosing not to let something go. With the fire, with the Emperor reversed in the fire placement for the underworld of the subconscious, it's like that toxic male or the toxic masculine energy, that process of thinking is now shifting out. So that's vacating, and then from an emotional standpoint, in the underworld, we're starting this new journey of really understanding. Once again, sorry. It seems to only blow away when I talk about the moon card, or you know, water placement. Maybe I interpreted that wrong, and you know, spirit of water isn't too happy. But hopefully I didn't. But that's what I'm really kind of sensing from this. But yeah, so just be. Well, I don't want to say just be. But yeah, so be prepared to embark on this new journey inward, and just. Excuse me, I had to take another sip. It's actually really warm out here. So just be prepared to go along this path. Like it's almost like you're the crab emerging from this pool of almost like just, I guess, not ignorance wouldn't be the best word, but just almost from this shadow realm of not really seeing or really taking into consideration how you may be internally. And you're about to walk down this road, and you have to definitely work with, what you think of yourself internally, definitely, and your actual instincts. So that's what I'm sensing from the underworld. And now, for the earth plane, once again, I ask the spirit of air, earth, fire, and water to please bring forth your messages for how we are proceeding along the earth plane and where this ties in with the underworld, or our subconscious. What is this journey? And how do we take our steps properly so we don't misstep, and we can continue towards, our growth and prosperity. Okay, so the spirit of air. My goodness. Okay, so Ace of Swords reversed. The spirit of earth. Okay, so death. So it's definitely meaning transformation. Queen of Cups and fire. Okay. And for the spirit of water, we have the Four of Wands. So with this Ace of Swords, an ace is always going to mean a beginning. Of some kind. This means you're ready to pursue a new intellectual journey, but there just may be delays on this. So like you're ready to transform, you're ready to do your, to broaden these mental planes, horizons, these new thought processes. However, the only issue is it's just simply going to be, this is all that means in reverse. There's simply going to be some delays to this. But you're starting a new intellectual journey. You're starting a new way of thinking. You may even be starting on some new project, or some kind of new intellectual job, but or a job that really requires intellect. But you know, this is good. So this is still happening. It's just gonna be happening, a little bit slower. So nothing really to fret about too much. As for the Death card in Earth, so the Death card in reverse, because I got this in reverse. Once again, it means like this almost never foreshadows physical death, actual physical death. Like I would say maybe 0.5% of the time it actually foreshadows physical death. This Death card always means, or the Death card generally means some kind of transformation, some kind of transition, recreation. You know, there's something that's shifting. So this is really happening. There's a shift. There's a shift in Earth. With it being negative, however, ooh, I just noticed something. Between the corresponding elements of the moon and the Death card, it's like the same. It's literally this. First of all, I noticed this before, but it's the same pillars. But there is going to be some kind of. It's not going to be like a negative thing, but I feel like this is going to be if you really don't work with your foundation, because this is what this whole section is about. This is about the Earth plane and foundation as well. You're going to actually inevitably stagnate, almost like indefinitely in something. So this is what I'm picking up from the Death card in reverse in this case. So you want to make, there's some kind of decision that really needs to be made on the physical plane. It's almost like, for example, and this is a really broad example. Say you have someone who is giving you some kind of ultimatum, and you don't make that choice. What this is going to happen is, like, if you don't make that choice, that decision to transform, it's almost going to be like you're going to be in a permanent state of stagnation, like in stasis. So basically what I'm sensing, especially so far, just with the two Earth cards, you're going to have to make probably one of the hardest choices you've ever had to make, or face the hardest consequences you're going to have to face for it. And this is regardless on the Earth plane. So like, you got to make this decision, in your subconscious, mentally, like really, because otherwise, if that doesn't happen, you're going to be stuck in a place that you probably won't be able to get out of for a very, very, very long time. And so this could be in a relationship, this could be in a job, this could be, a housing situation that you really don't like to be in. This could be any number of things. So definitely with the Death card in reversing the Earth placement, don't be stagnant. You got to make this decision. This is a serious warning from Earth right now, from the Earth placement, from the spirit of Earth. Now moving on, so we have the Queen of Cups in the Fire placement. So I'm just a little bit stuck on this. So now the Queen of Cups, actually I'm not really stuck. I think I really see it. So the Queen of Cups she represents a kindly woman who's very much into the arts, very much creative, very emotionally attuned, not like whimsical, but definitely mystical, and she handles everything with a very mature judgment. She thinks outside the box. She's highly creative, and if she's not representing a person, which she isn't in this case, she's representing the divine feminine, being a major part, or really acting on passions. And I think this is what she's really representing in this case. So, and with the toxic the toxic or stagnated energy from the male fading out, or from masculine energy fading out, especially in the underworld placement, or in the underworld section with the fire placement, that is representing the Queen in this case on the Earth plane, is representing an influx of positive feminine energy, creativity, maybe adjusting, adapting, seeing things from a different perspective, maybe even reprioritizing or shifting you know, your real creative processes, your passions, like what do you want to do, what do you want to see, instead of being bogged down by like, you know, you have to, maybe you have to think a certain way. Darn it. Oh my goodness, what happened to my other card? Uh-oh. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna pause this real quick. Sorry about that. Just had to find my cards because it's really windy out here and everything seems to be blowing everywhere. But anyway, so where was I? Yeah, so the Queen is representing an influx of creative feminine energy. Literally like a completely new way of thinking that's going to be nurtured, that's going to be healthy, it's going to be fresh, it's going to be clean, because that's what water really represents. It represents transformation and a shifting of emotions, but like also represents like a refreshing, cool regeneration, like rebirth, rehydrating. So there's going to be that rehydration of thought, like of creativity, that is going to bring people or bring one more into themselves. Like you don't have to, darn it, I'm telling you, something's with the spirit of water today. I don't know if she's upset with me or what, but she just keeps blowing over my cards whenever I mention her. But that's what I'm really getting from this card. Maybe she's just teasing me. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I really am spot on. I'm not upsetting her. She just wants to be a pain in my butt, which has happened before. Especially being a water sign myself. But this is what I'm really getting from the Queen of Cups in this case. Would you stop? Or maybe she's trying to tell me to move on. All right, so let's do that. Maybe that's what's really happening here. But anyway, now finally with... it's just funny because I'm moving into the... Still in her talking about her. The Four of Wands in the water is the message from the spirit of water on the earth plane in this segment. So in this placement, in the water placement, you know, the Four of Wands actually does really represent like an establishment. Like there's been some kind of there's like a victory, as you would say, in establishing, you know, something, and it's a time to celebrate. It's like almost like you conquered. I don't really say conquered, but like you're able to build something, and now it's time for celebration and enjoyment. It's like the completing of a task, or you conquered something really difficult, like, you know, a really difficult task, like probably building a business, for example. But right now this is in reverse, so now it's not the time to celebrate it yet. So it looks like, so this isn't a time for celebration. This is definitely a time for work and transformation. So this is what I'm getting from all four elements on the earth plane. So you're definitely working. There's going to be delays. There's going to be, you know, maybe even a little more work, but it's definitely coming on on building your intellectual self on this earth plane, new thoughts, and going in a new direction. You're going to have to make a very hard decision, and you know what? That's okay. That's okay. But you're going to have to make a really hard decision, and you're just going to have to cut some. This is what I'm getting from the earth. From Earth right now in these two placements, in the netherworld and the current Earth plane. Like, this is just going to be a really hard decision you're going to have to make. Something's just going to have to go. It's going to have to be cut in order for you to transform, and you're going to have to go through that pain. It's just how it is. It's part of growth. It's like, what are you going to do? With the Queen of Cups once again in the fire placement, this is just an influx of new creativity, new thinking, adaptation, new emotions, possibly even new love. For, you know, someone, or maybe even for yourself. Maybe you discovered something that, you know, maybe this is a time of you literally discovering self-love and self-creativity, and, you know, wanting to build, or wanting to have more for yourself, and that's great. But ultimately, this is not a time to celebrate that kind of stuff. So especially in the water placement, you're gonna have to be, it's basically, or, you know, the Four of Wands and, you know, the water placement in this case, it's definitely going to be a time of, you know, definitely like kind of keep your emotions in check, let them flow, but work through them, work through all of this, work with all of this. Like, it's a time for work. You have to work to get it to flow. So definitely, and once again, she keeps blowing over the cards. It's only with the water spirit today. I don't know what's going on. I'm really hoping she's not mad at me. But anyway, moving on to what the heavens and what our higher selves, the advice they can give us. So, spirit of air, spirit of earth, spirit of fire, and spirit of water. What advice from the heavens, from our higher selves, what information can you share with us? What can you bring us? What advice do you have for us? What do we need to know in order to make these changes, give us strength to make these changes? What do we need? How do we go about it? What advice can you offer? Excuse me. What advice can you offer? Okay, let's see. Alright, so in the placement of air, definitely moving on. Once again, in the placement of earth, it's definitely going to be a time of rest and recuperation. Oh boy. Ooh, this is going to be all mental. And this is definitely reflecting of the moon, because this is all air. Except for this one. This is the 9 of Cups in the water placement. So once again, air placement, fire placement. Oh, sorry. Air placement, earth placement, my mistake. Fire placement, and water placement. So the spirit of air, in this case, we got the 6 of Swords reversed in the air side, if you can see that. Just like that. This is representing, generally upright, this means that, you know, you're moving on from a negative situation. And once again, it just moved, like, with this one reversed, I'm sensing, it's really kind of indicating that it's just going to be a slower process. There might be certain things that you're holding on to or don't want to move on from, but you're gonna have to. So it's just like whatever you may be holding on to, I suppose in this intellectual things that you may want to keep, they're not gonna serve you. So basically, this is what this is saying. You have to let everything go. This is the advice from the higher realms, from the higher self. You got to just let everything go. Don't hold on to any of it. Just take the boat with all your intellectual self that as you are right now, all those thought processes, and let them go. And then move on, so you have completely fresh. It's almost like you're having a completely fresh start. Not almost, but like in terms of your thinking, definitely a completely fresh start. So this is what this is representing from the higher self in air. From the 4 of Swords, after this, after you make this hard decision in the earth placement, you know, the 4 Swords from the higher self, you're definitely going to need a period of real rest, because this is going to take so much energy. Once again, with the earth placements, so in the netherworld or the subconscious, and the earth realm and the conscious realm, like this decision, whatever this decision this is, it's going to take. You're going to need serious rest. You're going to need a lot of rest after this. This is going to take so much energy from you physically, especially, but probably also mentally and emotionally, and it's going to be hard. But you're going to have to just probably, I would say, even take, you know, time off to really think about it, like to contemplate it, to process it. Excuse me, I'm gonna take another sip. But it's just what you have to do. Oh, ew, darn it. Sorry, something was like crawling along the bottom of my camera and I accidentally killed the poor thing. I didn't mean to do that. Darn it. Oh, darn it, now it's all throughout. Oops. So anyway, so that's what this means in Earth. Moving on to the fire placement from the higher realms, or the heavens, we have Two of Swords. And generally this represents a decision that you're being blind to, or you're just not how to proceed. You're caught between two double-edged swords, or just, yeah, literally two double-edged swords. And so it's like you have to make a choice. And ultimately, like when this is reversed, generally this means it's just like you're kind of refusing to make the choice when it's reversed. But in this case, I'm sensing like you can't make the choice yet because you don't have enough information from how you're emotionally changing yet. So it's like you're going to have to, as this new influx of this new refreshing way of thinking of these emotions, of feeling it, maybe even releasing it. It's almost like you're going to be not making a choice on what to do with these new emotions or these new feelings or these new insights you're getting. And that's okay. You don't have to make a choice with anything just yet. You're not going to be. It's almost like you're not going to be put in that place. You're going to be. It's almost like you're going to be in stasis, so to speak. But it's okay to be there. Just let yourself feel it. Be there, feel it, sense it, and during that period, I feel like, it's just like you're going to have to just. It's almost like just learning from it, just listening to it, sitting with it, understanding it. So, in this case, it's okay to be intellectually, I suppose, in the water placement, or just intellectually confused, not knowing how to process these new emotions, not knowing what to do with them. That's okay. Just learn to sit with them, breathe with them, and sooner or later, those answers will be coming to you. So. It's all right. It's all right not to make a decision with these new emotions. It's not right to really act on them just yet because you're going to be figuring out what they really are, and that's all right. And then finally, with the water, or the Nine of Cups and the water placement, this usually signifies almost like when it's upright, like you have literally everything that you want. You're completed. You're almost a little bit selfish and smug by it too. But in the reversed position, it means that it's like almost the exact opposite. It's almost like you don't have all of this stuff. Like generally, water cards are positive, are really positive, and they bring something, or some good news. And stuff of that regard, and something to kind of mitigate whatever negativity that's in here. But I'm sensing with the water card, the Nine of Cups and the water card in this case reversed, it's like it's just like you're dumping out everything, like you're throwing it all away, and it's almost like you're going to be going back to ground zero, or you're going to go back to square one. And you're going to have to kind of almost like build back up. And that's part of transformation. Like that's like probably the biggest component of transformation is like once you've gone through this process, you have to build yourself back up with, everything new that you've learned, everything new that you've seen. So, and everything new that you felt, and your new perspectives. So that's what I'm really sensing from the Nine of Cups in this case. So basically, overall, you're going to make a real serious choice, especially if you're an air sign, like a real major choice. And unfortunately, this choice may be something where you already know it, that you have to cut something in order to fully transform. You just don't want to, but there's going to be major ramifications if you don't make this choice or if you don't cut this cord. This is coming from the earth placements. Like, there's going to be a choice you're going to have to make. You're going to hate it, and you're going to need serious rest after it. But you're going to have to cut this cord. From the air signs or the air cards, and then in the air placements for each realm, like this is going to be this is going to be a slow, delayed process, but the sun is rising on it. And it's just going to be, it's going to be all about growing pains. Like, this is what I'm really sensing. This is what this whole reading is about. This is all about growing pains, starting a new journey, and doing the said work to, to get yourself into another stable place, like, and be able to learn and sit with this. So, yeah. So the key takeaways from this reading, under the full moon, from the elements, is make that hard. You're gonna have to make that hard decision. You're gonna have to cut some cords. You're gonna have to take some rest. You're gonna have to, not wrestle, but really experience and feel these new processes of thinking, this new creativity, this new change in your mind, literally. This is all part of the evolutionary process. And, especially with the fire placements, it's okay not to know what to do with new emotions and new ways of thinking, and how it's going to affect your passion and your drive. It's okay not to know, but but this is happening, this shift is happening, and it's going to be cool, and it's going to be refreshing, and you can remain in stasis with it for a while and just really take it in. And then with the water placements, I feel like it's almost like, oh, sorry, this is supposed to be upright. Whoops. So once again, with the moon, in the netherworld and subconscious, it's like you're literally embarking on this new journey. In the waking realm, you're not going to have time for celebrating this new journey. Like, it's not going to happen. And once again, with the higher conscious, like, it's like you're dumping out all these old emotions, and that haven't been serving you, or what was good may have gone stale, and you had to dump it all out, and now you have to start all over again. So, like, you're not, like, this is a sign that you're starting from square one with a lot of your emotions and stuff like that, and how you change and how you adapt, and what's going on in that part of your life, so, or part of one's experience in life. So this is, yeah, so be prepared for a hard and intense transformation, because this is coming. And and it's okay to feel, it's okay to, like, feel this pain, and feel the pain of cutting something or someone off that you didn't think you were gonna have to. It's okay to go through the rest. It is okay to let everything go, and let the sun rise on these new processes of thinking, your intellectualism, and getting more in contact with that. It is perfectly okay to let go of old toxic thought patterns, especially dominating, really domineering ones, and not know what to do with this new creativity and energy. And it's okay to start on a new emotional/spiritual journey, and have to do the work for it, and just have to throw away everything that you thought you once knew from it. So yeah, so I hope this reading helps. This is the reading concerning, well, in more relation to the full moon, as opposed to just a regular day-to-day in this case. Especially with the full moon in Aquarius tonight on July 23rd, 2021. And I hope this serves you. You learn from it. And yeah, like, share, and subscribe if you want to donate to the channel. I'll leave all the information in the description box below. Also, if you want to buy some merchandise, I have an entire online boutique with shirts, tape bags, mugs. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, check that out too. All right, guys, have a good one. Peace, and happy full moon, and happy Friday.